Bitcoin has just seen a significant crash below $16,000. What is going to happen next with Bitcoin? Let's jump into the charts and find out. Okay, welcome back to the channel, MegaWhale team. Thanks for tuning into today's video. We're going to go ahead and take a look at Bitcoin today, talking about the price action and specifically discussing what is going on with the price action, why we lost 16,000 and what is going to happen next. Are we going to see a continuation of this downtrend, or are we going to see any possible reversals at this point and see some sort of rise in the price after what has been quite a significant drop, around a 4% drop? So let's quickly talk about the chart. We did see a breakdown from two structures. We obviously saw that breakdown from that ascending support line, which we talked about a few times this week. Obviously, this descending resistance line over here was in fact acting as that compression point, that apex, which we said we were going to see a directional move from. And it was very obvious this was happening with the volume being very, very low and decreasing over the last couple of days, over the last 10 days. We had volatility decreasing over a 10-day period, and we had this sideways compression with lower highs and higher lows over the last 10 days, indicating again a period of immense compression. And generally, when we have these compressions or consolidations, particularly sideways consolidations, we end up seeing directional moves or big moves filled with a lot of volatility and a lot of volume. And that is what has happened. We've seen this volatile move to the downside, a lot of volumes come through, push the price below not only this uptrending support line we just saw over there, but also the range low of this horizontal channel. And of course, we talked about that yesterday. We said if we lose this support line over here, we're going to be making a direction move to that downside. But we'll get into it a little bit more in a second. But before we get started, smash the like button, hit the comment button, leave a comment. You guys have been great with questions lately. I've had some really good questions in the comment section. I love answering your questions. And of course, smash the subscribe channel if you're new, button if you're new to the channel. We do daily technical analysis videos for Bitcoin, the most advanced, detailed analysis you'll find on YouTube. We focus purely on the objective facts and statistics. We don't talk about anything else but that. And of course, guys, click the link, join our Telegram channel, second link in the description, get access to all of our charts, analysis, updates, videos, and so much more. If you're interested in the VIP channel, you get access to all of our trade signals, analyses, and a lot more stuff. As you can see, we caught this drop in the VIP channel today, catching a little bit over 150% profit. You can contact me via the free channel to get access. Let's go ahead and talk about the data. So, November, negative 22% now for Bitcoin. We were negative 18 yesterday, so we saw a 4% drop over the last 24 hours. A pretty big drop for Bitcoin in a 24-hour period. 4% is moving to that larger side. Monthly is still looking bad there. Quarterly, negative 17. We're still in the red for the quarter. Again, if we do close this, it'll be the first 4 consecutive red quarters I've had over a 1-year period before for Bitcoin, so not looking too good. Volatility has come up a little bit. Now, this is not gonna accurately represent the volatility in the market right now. Yesterday was around 4.09, but it's over a 30-day period. And we have to keep in mind, guys, the last 10 days has been pretty much plateaued. So it's gonna smooth out. So even though we've had a pretty big jump in volatility today, it's only resulted in a 0.2% rise. 0.02% rise in the overall 30-day period volatility, but in reality, it is going to be much greater. All right, the volatility that we've seen today in a 1-day period would have been much more significant in comparison to what we've seen averaged over the last 10 days. And we know that because we look at the price action. The price action reflects volatility, and we've had a large move into price action, therefore the volatility has risen. And if we take a look at liquidations, we can see that as well. Liquidations have gone up from around 24 million yesterday to 166 million. This is more like the crypto market. We're getting a little bit more volatility. As you know, more volatility, more price action equals more volume, equals more liquidations, more people in the market, more people are trading, more money is lost, okay? So that is what we're seeing here. And of course, all of this can tell us exactly what's happening with the price. We have seen a directional move. So let's talk about the rest of the markets. What is the rest of the markets looking like? How can these potentially, give us some leading information on what Bitcoin will do in the future? Because as we already know, guys, Bitcoin is a financial asset, it's part of the financial markets. It does generally move with systematic risk and generally follows other markets, particularly the stock markets or other risk asset markets. So if we're looking at the DXY, we're looking at the strength of the dollar. It does tell us generally how Bitcoin can perform in the future. What we are seeing here for the DXY is a very clear break of this descending wedge. We saw a push upwards and a retest of 106, and we are bouncing from here. The next key resistance for the DXY is around 107. It is coming up to retest that now. It is around 107.2. The next one is 107.5. Breaking through this level will send the DXY right back up to around 109, which is a key resistance point. And of course, if that does occur, we do have a lot of downward movement for Bitcoin, a lot of downward movement for the stock market if that does rally, of course. Okay, moving on, we're going to go ahead and look at the Dow Jones. As you can see, that long-standing resistance, as we've been talking about for the last few weeks, that 34,000 level is now actually looking like it's confirming as resistance. Many retests over here over a 2-week period, nothing too significant. We are looking like we are about to make that confirmation to the downside. Confirmation to the downside, guys, we will need to actually go ahead and clear these lows sitting around 33,500, and that will confirm that next move down. The next move down should take it downwards to about 32,900, 33,000, potentially even 32,000 down over here. Of course, like we said already, we will need a weekly close of about 34,000 to see any sort of continuation upwards. Until then, the risk return on your downsides, on your shorts, are much more favorable. Same goes with S&P 500. We're looking at that resistance level at around 4,000. Exactly the same things. The only difference on this one is the resistance points are a little higher up. We do have a higher up resistance, that diagonal bear market resistance over here that we do need to break. Again, a weekly close above will be ideal for that. Bonds have been pushing upwards, and again, like we said already, last few days we've seen bonds actually front run the markets, front run the US dollar, and again, bonds are great, bond yields particularly are great leading indicators in terms of what the US dollar is going to do in terms of the strength of the US dollar. So when you see the bond yields kind of start to rise upwards, we generally can anticipate that the DXY is going to follow suit, and then the markets are going to fall down. It's pretty much what exactly have we seen, and of course Bitcoin dominance has been rising up as altcoins are getting slaughtered. Moving on, total crypto market cap, guys, we did obviously get rejected from this horizontal support range a few weeks ago now, and we are pushing back into the depths of this lower support range we are forming. Now, this lower support range is a very important level. Not only on the chart, if we're taking a look at the larger time frame, because this lower support range over here is actually that upper resistance of the 2017 all-time high. But if we go ahead and take a look over here, we actually did bottom out again on around 736 billion over here on the 9th of November. So the next continuation downwards for both Bitcoin and the cryptocurrency market will occur if the total cryptocurrency market cap falls below this level, okay? Right now is not the time to be entering shorts. If you have not entered shorts already, okay, you're entering late. Keep that aware. If you're entering shorts now, you are entering shorts late. Your risk return on shorts are not favorable. I wouldn't be entering longs either. I'd be waiting to see what happens, okay? Your short should have been taken in this consolidation zone. Once we got that confirmation rejection of 16,800, if we go back to the chart over here, you can see this was our confirmation rejection. This is when we should be looking for shorts. That is when we took shorts in VIP. That is why we're at massive profit now. But right now is not the time to be taking shorts. You're technically entering on a late entry, okay? So we're waiting for the next confirmation for the move down. The next trigger, again, this could have been a good short point breaking through there, like we said. The next trigger for looking for more downwards continuation is if the total cryptocurrency market cap continues below this point. If we do continue below this point, we can see a pretty nasty drop all the way down here. Again, we can create supports along the way, but the current visible supports are sitting around 575 billion and 533 billion. Again, we can create supports along this range, but these are the next current visible supports. So a pretty big drop for Bitcoin, a pretty big drop for altcoins if we start going any lower. Looking at Bitcoin over here, more or less the same thing on larger time frame. On the smaller time frame, we do have that similar support for the total crypto market cap as we do for Bitcoin. That is sitting over here. So for the Bitcoin chart, we have not quite reached that support yet. We are still sitting just above it. I would expect for us to come down and actually retest this support during this move before we see any potential continuation upwards. The only issue of that is if we do come in here, we are clearing this low here, and that creates a significant amount of selling pressure, and it does actually add to that downtrend strength, and that will enable us to potentially go even lower. So let's take a look at two things before we get into the short-term analysis and really talk about, what we think is going to happen in the immediate term. Let's take a look and just identify these levels and make sure everyone's aware of, where Bitcoin will go if X and X happen. If Bitcoin does lose these levels, where will it go? You have to be prepared. If Bitcoin does bounce over here, where will it go? We have to be prepared. You need to be prepared of all scenarios. If you're aware of every scenario, you know exactly what decision to make when those scenarios play out, and you can position yourself in the market effectively. The biggest mistake a lot of people make is, I'm bearish, therefore I'm only going to look towards the downside. I'm going to ignore potential bounces. I'm going to ignore anything to upside. I'm just going to hope it goes down permanently, okay? And vice versa. The bull's expecting, oh, I'm just going to hope it goes up. I'm not going to worry about the downside. I'm not even going to consider any downside possibilities. I just hope it goes up. And a lot of people had that mindset during the start of the bear market and they got wrecked. And a lot of people got that mindset as we approach the end of the bear market and they're going to get wrecked again. So you have to be aware all scenarios at all times. So what will be the trigger for a continuation downwards? So we are very much in a downtrend. We do expect this downtrend to continue until either two things happen. One, we develop a new support at 16,000. Okay, there's a psychological range. It can actually develop a support. Or two, we find support within this visible support range between 15,500 and 15,790. Okay, those are two reversal points. Continuation downward occurs once we lose this low. Okay, so we have confirmation of a continuation downwards once this level is lost. Okay, where will that take us? Well, looking at the larger time frame, we'll go ahead and zoom out. The next visible supports for Bitcoin, if we go ahead and bring up our VRPV, again, visible range, volume profile, it tells us the historical horizontal trading volume over specific time frames on specific horizontal levels. So let's go ahead and bring that up. We can zoom out for this one now. And what we can see over here, particularly if we zoom out even much further, what we can see this gap. So we are now, and I don't want it to change too much, but as you can see here, we are underneath this larger peak, and it kind of goes in and out if we zoom out. There we go. Underneath this larger peak over here, which was that 16,800, 16,700 support resistance zone, that was that consolidation, all right? We created this volume peak through this 10-15 day period of consolidation. We are now underneath it, entering this lower historical trading volume range. This extends down to about 13,900, okay? That 13,900 to 12,000 horizontal support range is that next visible support on the chart, okay? That visible support is between these levels here. You can see 13,900, bang, and 12,000 level over here, creating those upper resistances of this level. That is that next visible support. Now, that doesn't mean we can't create support. As you can see, we have actually attempted to create support within this range. We attempted to create a support of 16,800. It actually failed. We can attempt to create support of 16,000 again. Generally, during these periods of lower historical trading volume, that is where we create new supports. It's very hard to create a support in an area like this. Generally, those supports are set in stone. It is much easier to create support in an area of lower historical trading volume, because as soon as you get any volume, it does start to act as some degree of support. And if it's built upon, that will become support, okay? That is towards the downside. Towards the upside, guys, we're gonna go ahead and use the same chart. Confirmation to the macro upside reversal. We are still looking for a reversal above this downward trending support line, or this resistance line, sorry. That will confirm a continuation upward. Okay, we'll come back and talk about that in a second. On a smaller time frame, what we are looking for a continuation upwards is, of course, a break above 16,800. We do need to get above this smaller time frame horizontal resistance level again. Okay, breaking above here will enable us to have a shot at 17,200. This is that key level for a short-term swing up to around 18. Okay, so we do need to break above those levels. The reason why 18 is a very key level is because if we go back to this chart over here, you can see 100 is this black line over here. So for us to see any sort of bullish momentum reversal on the time frame for Bitcoin, we do need to see the price re-enter and get back above this level, or if we extend long enough, break through this downward diagonal resistance. Okay, so there's a few different things Bitcoin can go ahead and do. Now, in the larger time frame for the bull case, Bitcoin will actually need to break through this downward descending resistance. This is a macro resistance, of course, on the time frame. This will in turn actually result in that bear market being broken. So when you see this downward trending resistance being broken, that is when you can confidently say, okay, the bear market resistance has broken. We are out of the bear market. We are going to now have a chance of developing a new trend, whether it be a sideways consolidation, whether it be an uptrend, but we're out of the bear market. So we're actually waiting for that. As you can see, the date range for that is not too long. This ends up horizontally around that mid-December. If we do extend it to January, we can see mid-January. So we're looking at 1 or 2 more months of possible downtrend or sideways price action or combination before we see that bear market resistance actually break. So that is it, guys. Let's talk about the short term. What do we think Bitcoin's going to do on the immediate short term? Let's go ahead and dive into that now. Looking for an honest, reliable, and accurate exchange that you can trust to trade on, go ahead and sign up to Bitget with the link down below and join myself and all of our other VIP members and other members who trade on Bitget daily. There's a whole range of benefits and features you can actually get by trading on Bitget. These include no government regulations, meaning you can sign up from anywhere in the world. There's no KYC, 0% trading fees on spot, massively reduced trading fees on futures. It's one of the lowest in the game. And most importantly, access to their protection fund in case the exchange gets hacked. You can actually get reimbursed for your funds, so you can ensure your funds are safe. Now, most importantly, if you do sign up with the link down below, that first link, you'll get access to 2 additional features. These include access to a reward center where you can get up to $4,163 in rewards, and access to the MegaWhale exclusive referral link, bonus discounts. Every other month we do bonus campaigns. We get up to 10% off your trading fees, or even you get a percentage of your trading fees refunded to your account as USDT. Essentially, you get paid to be on the exchange. That's enough, guys. We'll get back into the video. So we'll start on this chart again, because this is a great chart to go ahead, because we've got everything on here. Let's go ahead and just zoom in a lot. Let's go to the 5-minute chart and see what's happening. So what I like to do sometimes when I'm looking at charts, particularly after volatile drops, just to check my own bias, because at the end of the day, guys, you can say, you know, you're an objective analyst, you look at the charts objectively, you don't take any emotions into it, but sometimes subconsciously you can actually put some, you know, psychological bias into it. So flipping the chart sometimes can actually eliminate that psychological bias, and you can check yourself, you can check your own bias. Because when you flip the chart, you flip it and it shows you from a different angle, it shows you from a different perspective. So generally, usually what I would say is, particularly new traders, they look at the chart and they infer what they think is going to happen based on the visual look. You know, there's a lot of red candles, it looks like it's on a downtrend, it looks bad, therefore it's going down. But the moment they flip the chart, they get a different perspective, and it really makes sure you're not just assessing the chart based on how it looks, but you're assessing the chart on what it's actually saying. So when we flip the chart, what we can see, we'll draw on our trend lines. We have this downward trending resistance over here, okay? We have a very clear breakout of downward trending resistance. We have our upward trending resistance or support over here. This is, of course, our pennant formation, okay? We have our flagpole over here. So a breakout of this resistance over here, we can go ahead and do our measured move, bottom to bottom. We can take that and break it up. This takes us around 14,000. So we know already from our measured move, okay, we're taking us down below the support range. So what we can do at a minimum, we can expect this price to come down in here. Now, as we know already, measured moves don't tell us exactly where the price will go. It tells us the range of which the price will go until it meets a equal or major enough support zone to actually reverse or either create a new trend or push it sideways long enough to create a new market structure, which will then create a new pattern and therefore create a new direction. So we are looking for a move down into this range. This is the next target for Bitcoin. I'd be very surprised to see it push upwards to eliminate this downtrend. So what we would expect to eliminate this downtrend. By eliminate this downtrend, meaning we do expect to move down here. Now, for this to be incorrect, we would need to see the price get back above, okay? Get back above this downward trend. It was uptrending support, now resistance, okay? So unless this happens, expect the price to continue for the short term down. That is based on the structural analysis, okay? Let's go ahead to the larger time frame, do a quick technical analysis, and see what the technicals is now saying now that the price has actually shifted a little bit. So we'll start on a smaller time frame. On the day, we'll start on a daily. Daily is fine to start on with. Let's go ahead and bring up some stuff. And the first one I want to take a look at is the RSI. And particularly the RSI on the 3-day and the 7-day chart. Now let's go ahead and draw in our trend lines. So of course we do have our downward sloping resistance here. Okay, this is our downward sloping resistance for the RSI. We're going to go ahead and make this a little bit bigger. Okay, as we can see, we had a huge breakout over here. We have our downward sloping support over here, but we do know we are in a falling wedge. Okay, and again, we had a huge breakout over here. This is an interesting thing, guys. On the 3-day chart, this is a fake out. Okay, we know this was a fake out over here because the price fail to break over the downward sloping resistance, but the RSI break over the downward sloping resistance. So generally, we need both. We need the price over resistances and we need the RSI over resistances to confirm breakouts. If we have the price over and the RSI under, or we have the RSI over and the price under, generally they do constitute fake outs. That is what we saw. Now, if we do flip it to a 7-day chart, however, we can see something a little bit different. We can see the RSI, and we have to adjust this slightly on the 7-day chart, is actually acting still as resistance on the 7-day chart. So again, if we smooth it down to a larger time frame, we can see that point is now acting as a resistance, confirming the fact that that was in fact a fake out or a failed breakout on that trend line, which is exactly what we saw on the 2-day chart. So we are still in a falling wedge. We have confirmed a falling wedge. We have 2 retests on one side, 3 retests on another side, meaning according to traditional RSI structures or falling wedge structures, we should not see another retest of this downward sloping resistance. Okay, we should actually not even see a drop below this previous low. So meaning that on the RSI on the weekly, we are actually getting quite close to the bottom of this falling wedge structure, and therefore we are getting quite close to the bottom of this descending channel structure, meaning we don't have too much more room to move downwards until we have to either break that bear market resistance, push sideways long enough to create a new pattern, or create a new uptrend. Okay, one of those 3 things are coming, and it's coming quite soon. With that being said, guys, I think I'm gonna leave the video there. I think that's covered it well. Stay safe, and I'll see you guys all tomorrow. Cheers.